The world has been transfixed by the joint United States-Israel war on Iran. But where is it heading? The Point starts right now. I am joined now by Ophir Akunis, the Consul General of Israel in New York. And of course, the topic of today is what's been going on in the Middle East, the attack on Iran, the decision by the United States and Israel to attack. And the question is this: the bombing has been going on for a week. What's left to bomb, and where do we go from here? Unfortunately, much more. They build their nuclear sites, and they making their intercontinental missiles for a very long time, Marsha. I want you to know, I know that you already know that, but most of the Americans, according to the numbers that I can see these days, don't know the issue. They don't know about the Iranian threat. What is the Iranian threat? I saw a lot of people who still they're saying it's about Israel. It's a threat of building a nuclear bomb, all their nuclear reactors, their missile reactors, but you're taking everything out. So that's the point. That's the point, that the threat of these intercontinental missiles, the nuclear sites, and their nuclear weapon, and the drones, the threat is against all of us, my friends, my American friends. It's not only against the state of Israel, because what is the Iranian slogan? Because they're sponsors of terror around the world. Exactly. So what is the, you know, when I saw here, and we talked about it during my first interview here, and I quote the protesters here who used to, they're still doing it, by the way, chant, death to America, death to Israel. This is an Iranian slogan. But see, wait, we have to ask this question. So I've talked to some experts over the past week in Middle East policy. And what they say is that the Israeli view is something that they call mowing the lawn. That you bomb, the bombs come back, just like grass comes back, and you have to bomb them again. And that has been the policy of trying to contain the Iranians over the last several years. Is this different? Are you going to have to come back and mow the lawn in a year, in 5 years, in some point? I hope that we don't need to do it in 5 years or 6 years or 10 years. So what's the difference this time? I will tell you. First of all, the combination between the Israeli army and the American army, the fact that we are doing it together. When President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu decided as leaders, and by the way, serious leaders, but they have strong leaders, nuclear to do reactors buried deep down. How do you get all of them? How do you get all of the missiles? How do you get all the missile sites? How do you get all of the drones, all of their technology, every last bit? I will tell you, the president said a few days ago that it can be something like 4 or 5 weeks operation. Maybe we'll need more time. Maybe, I don't know yet. I can see the achievements till this day. There's very good achievements. So when does it stop? At what point do you say enough? When I will tell you, right, you know, and clear, when the Ayatollahs will surrender. We can't, the Western world, the Western civilization was under their threat. They don't want us. It's not Israel, it's not Tel Aviv, it's New York, it's London, it's Berlin, it's Rome, it's Athens, it's everything. They don't want the Western civilization. They don't want our democracies. So you're saying America's in danger as well? Yes, yes, I'm saying it. From a nuclear attack or from a cyber attack? From everything, Marsha. I'm begging from the Americans to understand the threat. This is a serious threat. Maybe their intercontinental missiles, for now, are too short to reach America, but they are not too short to reach Europe. London, by the way, I'm very surprised from the British behavior. The British
who led the front against the Germans in 1940, when after the famous Churchill.
But do you think this is a residual reaction to what happened in Gaza after the attack on October 7th?
No, I don't think that. I will tell you. There's no. First of all, the Gazans and the Hamas declared around 1987 that they want to destroy us. The Iranians declared it much, well, let's say, 10 years before. So it's Iran and their proxies as well. Why we can see now the clashes in Lebanon? I saw an headline, I think, I don't remember what was it, that Israel strikes Lebanon. Wrong. Israel strikes Hezbollah. And who are those monsters? People who wants to destroy, first of all, Israel. Then, by the way, what was the reason that they used the drones to attack the British base? The British in Cyprus. Next time they will do it in Greece. Next time they will do it in Italy as well.
Aren't they trying to spread the war so to make it more difficult?
I think so. Yes, I think so. They are not using the Houthis yet. You know, their proxies from Yemen, but maybe they will do it next week. I don't know. We need to accept it. But I want to tell you that they are using the Hezbollah, the Houthis, and all their proxies to attack Israel and the Western world.
But here's the really big question. Jew hatred is something that is built into their culture, built into the culture of the Ayatollah.
Unfortunately.
So how many bombs does it take? How many attacks does it take to erase that? There are some that say that you can never erase that hatred.
First of all, you're right, but this hatred is not, unfortunately, it's not new. It was even before, as you said, even before the Ayatollahs. But the Ayatollahs declared right from the beginning that they are not only hate the Jewish people, that they want to destroy the Jewish people and the Western civilization together. You cannot separate their hateness to the Western world and to the Western civilization. Because, by the way, they kidnapped almost 300 Americans a few days after the Islamic Revolution there in Iran. Then they spread their slogan, "Death to America." And I want to be honest with you, really, this Sunday morning, I don't understand Americans, even politicians, I don't know, mayors, others, that they are saying it's not our war. My friends, this is your war. Not because I want it as an Israeli, because your enemy is saying it for the last 47 years.
Mayor Mamdani said it was an unjust war.
Okay, I don't know. He can say whatever he wants. You know, this is a free country. I'm saying to you that this is your war, because people in this city, even in this city, are using the slogan, the Iranian slogan, "Death to America."
But here's the question. So the President of the United States says that he wants to have a say in picking the next leader. There's been talk out of Iran that they wanted to crown, for lack of a better word, the son of the Ayatollah, which the president says is unacceptable. What role should the president or anyone play in the self-determination of Iran, which is its own power?
I'll tell you our thoughts about it. We cannot, Israel or the Americans, decide for them. Okay, they need to build from the beginning Iran to erase the last 47 years of the Ayatollahs. Yes, I think so. I will tell you why.
But how do you find somebody who's willing to do that when the whole culture has been based on?
So I don't think that it's true. I don't think that they're all culture based on hateness. I don't think so. The Ayatollahs brought it to Iran around the end of the 70s. It wasn't like this before. I don't know if you know, El Al, the Israeli airline, used to fly every day from Tel Aviv to Tehran, every day. So, and with a lot of trade, by the way, between Iran and Israel.
Could there ever be a day when trade can resume?
It's a good question. I hope that it will be, I'm not sure that it will be during the year of 2026. I hope that it will happen during the year of 2027.
I guess the big question to me, and we only have about a minute left in this section, is this: is there a possibility that you can totally wipe out their ability to build a nuclear weapon and that peace can reign in that country?
I think that the main goal of this operation is to achieve peace to the world, to achieve peace to the region. We want peace. We don't want the Ayatollahs to threat us and to say every day that they want to destroy us. I think that if you'll ask the Consul General of the UAE about his opinion,
what does he say?
He will be, I don't know if he will say it on record, but I suppose, I don't want to say UAE, other various Arab countries around the world, what do they think about this operation? They will say that they cannot live with the Iranian threat anymore. And what the example is that they fired the Emirates, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia, and Qatar as well.
All right, on that note, we're going to have to leave it right there for now. Up next, one of the many candidates seeking to replace retiring Congressman Jerry Nadler. I am joined now by Assemblyman Michael Lasher, who is running for Congress to try to replace Jerry Nadler, who has endorsed you. He wants you to be his successor. But I want to ask you, first of all, what role the support of Mr. Nadler, some of the progressives in this district, one of the operatives who helped Mr. Mamdani get elected mayor, what role do you think that's going to play in helping you to win?
Well, look, I'm honored to have the support of Congressman Nadler, Gail Brewer, our city controller, Mark Levine. But ultimately, this is an election that's going to be decided by the voters of this district, and they're some of the most informed, educated,
yes,
sophisticated voters anywhere in America. So they're not going to take, they're going to evaluate the candidates and come to their own conclusion. And I hope to make the case to them that I'm the right person to represent them.
You know, in the beginning part of the campaign, the positions on Gaza and what happened after October 7th was a big part of the race. And now that Israel has invaded and attacked, and the United States has attacked Iran, I wonder if that has now erased all the concerns about whether there was genocide in Gaza, there wasn't, and what Israel was doing.
I certainly think that the issues involved in how we try to bring peace to the Middle East, how we make sure that both Israelis and Palestinians can feel safe, that there is a stable region. I think all of those issues are important to the voters of the district, and they are going to want a congressman who can think about those issues, lead on those issues in a thoughtful way that acknowledges the complexity involved and the humanity of everyone involved. And that's certainly how I'm trying to lead.
So if you were in Congress now, would you have thought that the president exceeded his powers by going to war without asking Congress to authorize it?
I do believe that the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, gives Congress the sole authority to declare war, to initiate military conflict. And that is because our founding fathers didn't want to vest that authority in one individual. And President Trump obviously exceeded his authority in launching this war.
But now that we're in the war, what should Congress do about it?
I think Congress should bring this misadventure to a close. And I say that as someone who sheds no tears for the Ayatollah, who would like to see that regime no longer brutally rule Iran and wreak havoc in the region. But it's not even clear that this administration has any plan at all to bring that about. And as someone who believes in the rule of law, believes in the importance of the Constitution, you can't stand up for the rule of law when the goals are something that you share and be inconsistent about it. I stand up for the rule of law when Donald Trump is trampling on the civil rights of people in Minneapolis or New York City on immigration issues, and I stand up for the rule of law when Donald Trump is violating the Constitution and launching illegal wars. But
how about the situation itself, where you had a country that has been developing a nuclear power with the stated purpose of destroying Israel?
Oh, no one should understate the damage that Iran has caused regionally and internationally and the threat that they posed. But the question is, is this war legal? Is it wise? Is it going to drag the United States into a quagmire? And is it even going to bring about the demise of the regime? And I think that's entirely unclear. And that's why the president has an obligation to come before Congress and make the case for any military conflict that the president wants to initiate, which he did not do.
Do you see any situation where he could make the case that would convince you that he did the right thing by going to war with Iran?
I wouldn't rule that out, but we are so far from that having occurred. It's an entirely hypothetical exercise.
I guess the reason I'm asking the question is you have a situation where we're in the war.
Yeah.
We're shooting up their navy. We're attacking their missiles. We're trying to destroy their nuclear stockpile. And there are those people who would say, the goal of getting rid of the nuclear stockpile may be a good one because you don't want a nuclear war anyplace. So now that we're doing it, should we stay in it? Should we get out of it if it's half finished? Or do we need to, now that we're doing it, finish it off so that they don't have to do it again in 6 months or a year or 6 years?
I think time and again, we have fallen prey to the mirage of quick and easy military interventions that lead to long, drawn-out conflict and a situation that ends worse than it began. And there is no reason that the president has presented to the public, to the American people, or to Congress that this would be any different.
So do you think that this situation is going to affect the midterm elections, which you are a part of?
Certainly it could, and I think it's too,
Does it help Republicans? Does it help Democrats? Who does it help?
I don't have that crystal ball. It's on back order.
Okay, so let's talk about something closer to home, and that is one of your candidates is talking about the need to regulate AI. How do you feel about that?
I think we need strong federal regulation of artificial intelligence. This is a rapidly changing technology. It's a technology that's going to affect every component of our lives. And just as the federal government regulates the financial services industries and the major players that shape our economy, so too should the federal government be regulating artificial intelligence and the major entities that are driving that technology.
How do we regulate it?
Well, I think we need to deal with catastrophic risk, the risk that this technology could be used to cause enormous damage to our society. I think we need to...
Loss of jobs?
I think we really need to focus on the economic upheaval that it has the potential to cause. I've introduced legislation in Albany that would create wage insurance, a first-in-the-nation program that would say if you lose your job and move into a new field to try to gain new skills and begin anew, we would cover the gap in wages. So you don't have to remain on unemployment insurance. You don't have an incentive to remain on unemployment insurance, and you can go begin a new career, build new skills, and even if you have to take a salary haircut. I think that's the kind of program that we should look at the federal level as well.
But do you think the state could do it? We have about 15 seconds left. Should the state be creating new jobs?
Well, the state should always be creating new jobs, but I think the state has a role to play in looking out for people that may lose their jobs because of the economic upheaval that we're going to face.
We have to leave it right there for now, but our conversations continue right after the show on our streaming channel, CBS News New York. We'll be right back. Thank you for joining me. The Ayatollah is dead. President Trump wants to pick his successor. How do New Yorkers feel about the war in Iran? Well, they're weighing in on your point. The United States and Israel have attacked Iran. They killed the Ayatollah and many of his leadership. What do you think about that?
I think it's terrible.
Why?
Because I think that Israel is doing terrible things.
Netanyahu has wanted to do this for 40 years. And Trump has given in to him.
No words. He's idiot. Bleep, bleep.
It's definitely something that obviously had needed to happen, right? We're talking about 47 years of death to America, but why now?
I am with Israel, you know. But I feel for the people from Iran.
It's concerning because it's affecting so many countries and people out there, a lot of innocent people.
Someone bombed a school and so many girls died because of that.
It's very complicated, and I just hope it ends soon and some good comes out of it.
I don't know why they didn't go to Congress and talk to Congress before he did that.
Yeah, I mean, he should have gone to Congress.
Because that's part of the Constitution.
That's the way our government works.
But I think it said that if Congress says no, he could still veto it. So it doesn't really matter.
We have a president who is now an authoritarian, king, and is just doing anything he wants.
He is the president. He's supposed to make peace, not war. And now everybody's in shambles. I don't think one man should have the right to make a decision like this. It should be Congress come together and say, yes, let's do this, let's do that. Yeah.
What would you like to see the United States do on the world stage?
Well, I'd like to see them, first of all, help Ukraine.
Speaking truth and try to end those war.
Protect the world. Freedom of the world. Not attacking other countries and taking other presidents.
Well, first of all, they should be trying to get along with everybody instead of doing, for example, what they're doing with NATO.
Like they used to do, help. Help the world, but not cause war.
I think the United States needs to take care of the United States.
The United States should be helping the world instead of trying to poison the world.
On the world stage, I think we still have an opportunity to be a world peacekeeper, and I think we should stay with it.
What should the United States be doing around the world?
What we should be doing is flexing our powers and helping others, like we are known to do, helping our allies, not partying up with Putin and Xi Jinping, right? Like, where are our allies? Our allies are now the ones that we resent the most.